The real voyage of discovery lies not in chasing new horizons, but in seeing with fresh eyes. Sometimes, the people we believe we know best are the ones we understand the least. What would you do if someone tried to humiliate you for a job you trained them to do? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Emma Larson didn't care for accolades. If she had her way, her name wouldn't be etched on the plaques that lined the Academy's entrance, though every one of them bore some debt to her work. She preferred the edges of the room, the quiet corners, the subtle nod of respect from those who truly saw her and silence from those who never bothered to look deeper. That morning, she stood before her bedroom mirror, smoothing the front of a plain black hoodie. No badge, no belt, no visible signs of authority. Just Emma, the woman who'd earned her place in the shadows, who'd faced down the old guard and reshaped the system from within. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from her sister, Mia. News says protests might kick off tonight near 14th. Stay safe. Emma sent a thumbs-up emoji in reply. Words were a luxury her world didn't afford. She had work to do. She left her modest home in the Eastwood neighborhood, where kids still played pickup games in the streets and porch lights glowed not from fear, but from familiarity. Her path took her through Westward Plaza, a gentrified stretch still finding its balance between old residents and new money. Coffee shops bore names like Oak and Ember, and rent had skyrocketed in 5 years. Emma knew this ground like her own pulse. She wasn't here for coffee. She was visiting the family of a former cadet, a young man who'd left the academy after breaking down in her office, hands shaking as he admitted he couldn't stomach the culture of silence. Emma hadn't stopped him. She'd told him to trust that instinct, but promised to check on his mother now and then. She always kept her promises. Halfway across the plaza, flashing lights caught her eye. A cruiser parked haphazardly on the corner, engine idling. Habit made her note it. Habit kept you alive. Behind the wheel sat a young officer, white, buzz-cut, broad-shouldered, unfamiliar. He leaned out the window, staring a moment too long. Emma kept walking, steady. Then came the call. "Ma'am, hold up a second." She turned slowly, eyes steady. "Can I help you, officer?" Her voice was even, calm. His hand hovered near his belt, his tone sharp but unsteady, overcompensating. "Need to see some ID." Emma didn't move. "Why?" "You're loitering near a construction zone. We've had issues here." She scanned the plaza. Empty, clean, no tape, no workers, nothing to suggest trouble. "You sure about that?" she asked quietly. "ID. Now." He stepped out of the car, his nervous energy palpable, like someone desperate to seem in control. This wasn't the first time Emma had been misjudged, but the sting lingered. She handed over her driver's license. The moment he read it, his face shifted just a flicker, but enough. "Elizabeth Larson," he said aloud. "You live around here?" "Yeah," she replied, her tone cool, unshaken. He didn't laugh, just stared. "Next time, try leading with respect," she said, "not orders." "You're free to go," he mumbled, handing back her ID. She tucked it into her jacket, nodded once, and walked away. He stared at the license a moment longer before climbing back into the cruiser. Emma didn't look back. He'd learned soon enough. By the time she reached the block's edge, her phone buzzed again. A text from Chief Ramirez. Reminder, new rookie class starts training tomorrow, 8 a.m. Don't be late, Lieutenant. She smiled not at the title, but because she knew the roster. Tomorrow, that same young officer would be sitting front row, notebook open, trying not to look foolish. He wouldn't know she was the lead instructor until she took the podium. And when she did, she wouldn't mention the plaza. She wouldn't shame him. But she wouldn't forget. Ethan Brooks didn't wake up thinking he'd screwed up, not until his boots hit the floor, not until he scrubbed the cheap gel from his face and stared into the mirror, feeling the weight of something to prove. His father's badge sat on the dresser, framed, dusty, untouched. He hadn't earned the right to touch it yet, but he kept it there, a quiet challenge. His first day of official department training was 30 minutes away, and he already felt behind. The precinct was small, outdated, nothing like the polished stations on TV. The classroom was worse, flickering fluorescent lights, plastic chairs that ached your back, a whiteboard with marker stains from a decade ago. Ethan sat 2 rows from the front, dead center. He wanted to be noticed, to show the trainers he was driven, focused, everything the old guard wasn't. The room filled with a mix of faces: black, Latino, Asian, white, A few women, all serious, all quietly sizing each other up. Ethan didn't speak. Not yet. Not until he knew who was worth talking to. At exactly 8 a.m., the door opened. The room fell silent. She walked in, wearing the same black hoodie he'd seen yesterday, but now a badge gleamed at the waistband of her navy slacks. Her boots weren't tactical, they were the kind you wore when you'd already walked through fire. Ethan's lungs froze. His mouth hung half open. It was her. The woman from the plaza. "Good morning," she said. "I'm Lieutenant Emma Larson, your lead instructor." Every chair shifted forward, every cadet leaning in except Ethan. His blood felt like it was boiling behind his eyes. Emma scanned the room slowly. She didn't shout like a drill sergeant, but her presence was undeniable, quiet, unshakable, absolute. "Some of you might have heard of me. Most haven't. Doesn't matter. You're here now, and what you think you know about this job is about to be tested." She paused, letting the words settle. "By the end of this training, you'll be pushed, questioned, exposed. And if I'm doing my job right, changed." Ethan's hands curled under the desk. She hadn't called him out, not by name, not by a glance, not even a hint. That silence unnerved him more than a reprimand would have. "This job isn't about force," Emma continued. "It's not about shouting or drawing your weapon first. It's about reading people, de-escalating what doesn't need to escalate, making sure someone's kid gets home safe, even if they're cursing you out." A few heads nodded. Ethan stayed still. "Anyone here ever had a weapon drawn on them by another cop?" Silence. Emma raised her own hand. 5 times. 3 times, it was a misunderstanding. Each time, I did what I tell civilians to do. Hands visible, voice calm, no sudden moves. Each time, I walked away. She stepped closer to the front row. "You think that's luck?" "No. It's training. It's knowing the stakes before the other person even realizes what they're doing." Ethan's heart pounded, his throat tight. Emma picked up a marker and wrote 2 words on the board. "Perception equals power." "This," she tapped the board, "is what keeps you and everyone else alive. How you see them, how they see you, how fast you can rewrite that story in real time. That's the job." She turned. "Who wants to tell me what that means to them?" No one moved. Ethan hated the silence. It felt like judgment. Then Emma's eyes found his. "Officer Brooks," she said. He stiffened. "Yes, ma'am," he replied, voice cracking. "You've been quiet. Care to share?" Every eye turned to him. He swallowed. "Perception, it's how people react to what they think is happening, not what's actually happening." Emma nodded. "Go on." He stumbled forward. "So, if someone sees me, sees the badge, the uniform, they might think I'm a threat, even if I'm not." She tilted her head. And if I see someone who doesn't look right, I might treat them like a threat before I have a reason to." A long pause. Emma looked at him, no cruelty, no smirk, just wait. "That's honest," she said. "And it's the start of doing better." Ethan didn't know what to do with that. Praise? A lesson? A warning? "Let's break into groups," Emma said. "Assignments are on the table by the door. Scenario work starts in 20. As the class moved, Ethan sat frozen. He'd never felt so small and so seen. He glanced around. No one else seemed to know what had just happened. Emma's voice cut through, low, meant only for him. "Nice to meet you again, officer." He couldn't breathe. She didn't wait for a reply. In that moment, something in him cracked: shame, confusion, but also curiosity. He hadn't known who she was yesterday. Now, he wanted to know everything. 2 weeks into training, Ethan Brooks was sweating in a way he hadn't since high school football camp. Not from the drills or the runs in full gear, but from something deeper, gnawing at him since that first day when Lieutenant Emma Larson walked in like she owned the concept of authority. He'd messed up at the plaza, and she hadn't told a soul. That silence haunted him more than any lecture could. Each day, Emma pushed the rookies harder than they expected. She didn't yell or belittle, but she dismantled them with questions that cut deep, exercises that exposed every flaw, and simulations that left them feeling like they knew nothing. Ethan noticed she was toughest on those like her, loud, cocky, mistaking control for respect. With him, she was precise, measured. She never let him slide, but she didn't drag him either. She waited for him to drag himself. And he had been, ever since the plaza. He started seeing things differently, the way other rookies tensed in certain neighborhoods, the way veteran officers whispered, "Watch that one," about a black teenager in a hoodie, The way some cadets nodded at Emma's talks on bias, but never changed their notes. Ethan wrote everything down, especially the parts that hurt. That morning's exercise was a live scenario. Emma pulled 6 rookies into a simulation room, a replica of a neighborhood street with storefronts, parked cars, and civilian actors. Ethan was paired with Lena Kim, a sharp-eyed cadet from South Seattle who spoke little but hit every mark. She didn't like Ethan and didn't hide it. "Just follow my lead," she said as they were briefed. Possible domestic disturbance, unconfirmed 911 call, suspect may be armed, no backup. Ethan nodded. They moved through the set, scanning windows, hands visible, voices low. Lena took point. They approached a mock house where a man yelled at a woman on the porch, her arms around a child, her voice drowned out by his anger. "Get back inside. I don't care what you..." "Sir," Lena cut in, calm but firm. "Step back and keep your hands where we can see them." "What? This is my house." "We understand, sir. We just want to make sure everyone's okay." "I didn't touch her." Ethan's pulse quickened. His hand brushed his taser holster, the old instinct rising. "Step in. Take control. Raise your voice." But Emma's words echoed. "How you see them. How they see you." So he did something new. He stepped back. Lena's hand rose slightly, non-threatening. "We're not here to accuse anyone. We're just making sure everyone's safe." The man glared but stepped back. The woman nodded faintly. The child's sobs softened. Scenario complete. In the debriefing room, the cadets sat in stiff chairs, fidgeting. Emma stood at the front, arms crossed, her expression unreadable. "No one drew a weapon," she said. "No one raised their voice. No one got hurt. That's progress." She looked at Lena. "Excellent control. You de-escalated without losing authority." Then her eyes found Ethan. "Officer Brooks, you showed restraint." He nodded, stomach flipping. "That's the job," Emma added. "You don't always need to be the loudest. You just need to know when it's not your moment." A few rookies glanced at Ethan, respect or curiosity. He couldn't tell. After class, as others left, he stayed behind, feet glued to the floor. Emma was writing on her clipboard, alone in the corner. He cleared his throat. She didn't look up. "You gonna stand there, or you got something to say?" He stepped forward. "I'm sorry." That got her attention. She looked up, tilting her head. "For what?" "For the plaza. For not knowing who you were. For not asking." "You didn't need to know who I was," Emma said. "You needed to know who you were." Ethan's face warmed. "I thought I did." "That's the problem," she said softly. "Most do." "I wasn't trying to be a problem," he said. "You weren't. You were a mirror. And mirrors are dangerous when people aren't ready to look." Ethan exhaled. "Did you ever make that mistake?" Her eyebrows rose. "I made worse. But I didn't stay there. I'm trying not to stay here either." Emma leaned against the wall, studying him not as a threat, but as someone becoming something. "It's why I didn't say anything that day," she said. "People don't learn from humiliation. They learn from realizing they almost became what they swore they'd never be." Ethan looked down. "I think I was already on my way." "Maybe," she said. "But maybe now." He met her eyes, searching. "What happens now?" She shrugged. "You show up tomorrow. And you keep showing up until the uniform doesn't make you someone else's seat, makes you more of who you say you are." Ethan took that in, the weight of it. For the first time, he didn't feel defensive. He felt grateful. "Yes, ma'am," he said. Emma gave a single nod, then returned to her clipboard. As he turned to leave, she called, "Oh, and Brooks?" He paused. "You make another mistake like that, don't run from it. Run into it." He smiled faintly. "Yes, ma'am." Then he walked out, still a rookie, but not the same. The city didn't transform overnight, but something in its rhythm shifted. Morning roll calls sounded less mechanical. Young officers quoted training room lessons like gospel. At the heart of it was Lieutenant Emma Larson, not chasing the spotlight, but earning it. 3 months after the Plaza incident, Westward Plaza stood cleaner, with new murals on the old construction wall, silhouettes of community members holding hands. Ethan passed one the other day and paused. It was simple, almost childlike, but it stirred something in him, like a knot loosening. He'd graduated not top of the class, but top in something less tangible. Respect, maybe. Accountability. He didn't talk about the plaza much, but he carried it like a stone in his pocket, heavy enough to remind him, small enough not to weigh him down. Emma watched it all unfold without rushing it. She believed in earned change, not quick fixes. She mentored rookies who showed promise, kept tabs on those who didn't, quietly shaping a department that could breathe differently. Today, she was invited to speak at a departmental conference. Microphones, donuts, polite applause. She hated those, but she went. Not for the command staff, but for the rookies, civilians, and teenagers from local high schools in the audience. Sitting front row, by choice, was Officer Ethan Brooks. The auditorium buzzed as Emma took the stage. She adjusted the mic. "I'm not here for statistics," she began. "I'm here to tell you the badge isn't the hard part. It's the soul behind it." The room stilled. You can teach someone to shoot, to write a report, to file a warrant. But you can't train someone to see. That takes losing something or almost losing it. She looked to the back, seeing her younger self. "I've been pulled over, followed, searched, before I ever wore this uniform. I was someone it was used against." Gasps, whispers. Someone tried to clap, but she didn't pause. "I joined to change that, not just policies, but people. I teach rookies to see without flinching, to pause without fearing weakness, to unlearn what fear taught them." Her eyes found Ethan, who sat straighter. Some don't make it. Some don't want to. But some do. And when they do, they change everything. The room froze as she stepped down, avoiding handshakes, heading for the side exit where autumn light bathed the pavement. Ethan caught up halfway down the ramp. "You didn't tell me you'd call me out like that." She glanced sideways. "Didn't use your name. You didn't need to." Emma chuckled, rare and soft. "You sounded like someone who still believes this job can mean something," he said. "It can," she replied. "But not by itself. It needs people who bleed for it, break for it, rebuild themselves for it." Ethan nodded. "I had my first call last week. Suspicious person near a school entrance. Dispatch said he was pacing, possibly armed." Emma stopped walking. "And?" I approached slow, kept my tone soft. "He was a dad waiting for his son. Kid had detention, forgot his phone. I asked for ID, didn't run his plates. Just talked." Emma smiled, full and real. "You think I did the right thing?" he asked. "You didn't escalate," she said. "You saw the person, not the profile. That's the job." Ethan kicked a pebble. "I keep thinking how it could have gone if someone else showed up. If I hadn't had your training." "It went how it should have," she said. "That's what matters." He pulled a folded paper from his jacket. "What's this?" she asked. "Application," Ethan said. "For the peer mentorship unit. They asked me to nominate someone to train new recruits in community response." Emma opened it. Her name was listed. "You think I want to teach more rookies?" "I think you don't know how to stop," he said with a grin. She handed it back. "You sure about this?" "I'm not trying to be the hero," Ethan said. "Just trying not to be the reason someone else breaks." She nodded, taking it in. "You're not," she said. "Not anymore." The air between them shifted, not mentor and student, but something closer to equals, not by rank, but by grace. Behind them, the conference droned on speeches, policies, surface-level nods. Out here, something deeper had taken root. Emma slipped her hands into her pockets, gazing over the rooftops. "This city's watching," she said. Ethan followed her gaze. "Let them," he replied. Together, they walked forward, not as reminders of what went wrong, but as proof of what could go right. Even in a world that forgets your name, even in a job that demands everything, even when the badge doesn't teach you how.